So it is I, Sir Geoffrey of Flowermound, rabbi to the first men of Westeros and the first Jews of Denton, slayer of cheesecakes, breaker of china, a leader of men, and I have come to you to teach you how to kasher your kitchen, according to DIY Judaism, or, as we're calling it today, a game of stones, or a song of fire and water. And so, let us begin. Suppose you decide to keep kosher, or, more likely, that someone of your relatives wants to come over and they keep kosher. They are Shomer Shabbat, Shomer Kashrut, and you have to be able to feed them for at least an extended period of time. How do you kasher your kitchen? Remember, the word kosher is the noun. Kasher is the verb. To kasher is to render fit your kitchen. So how do you do that? Well, the simplest thing on short-term basis is to come over here. Here is the simple solution. Cover all of your cooking surfaces with tin foil, and then use disposable utensils and plates, and that will allow you to feed them. But wait! Suppose you imagine that you would like to do something more permanent, that you would like to be able to cook in kosher implements, that you would like to be able to feed them off of kosher plates and off of kosher trays. What do you do then? What do you do when you decide that you want to kasher your sword? No, kasher your instruments. Let us go on and find out. Let us begin the song of fire and water. We begin with a song of fire, which ironically starts with water. So, imagine you have here non-kosher instruments in your kitchen, but you want to kasher them. So what do? The first thing you need to do is you need to scour them and wash them thoroughly. So that's what we're going to do. So we come over here. Hi, everybody. And we clean everything very thoroughly. We continue to get every instrument completely clean. And we come in and get that one completely clean. And then you look at this and you go, how am I possibly going to scrub this? But trust me, I have the power of Westeros with me. So I scrub, and I scrub, and I scrub, and look at that. Pretty amazing, huh? So, now that we have them washed, what we must do is leave them for a full 24 hours. "24 hours has now passed, and it is time. Our instruments are thoroughly dry, and now it is time for us to begin the denouement of fire. Now we are ready for the final kashering. So, what is required to kasher an instrument is to expose it to a direct flame. This will produce the kashering. It must, however, be hot enough so that this metal glows, what you would call a dull cherry red. Unfortunately, this cannot be achieved in an oven. It can only be achieved by direct heat. So what you're going to want to do is, you could lay this out, but me, I have the instruments. I'm just going to do it this way. All right? And you just start heating with direct flame. And you heat. And you heat. And it goes on for a very, very long time. It takes a while for metal to reach the temperature that you want for it to be properly kashered. You could do this on your barbecue, but of course that would require your grills to be pre-kashered before you lay them out. But now I can see the color coming. There it is. We are on our way to being koshered. We'll work our way down. I see the color change. We're getting a golden patina. And there it goes. Now the problem, of course, is that with an instrument like this, is it takes different temperatures at different spots because it's different metal density. But once you have fully heated this under a direct flame, whether it be in your barbecue or with an object like this, you have achieved the kosher of it. Now, suppose you want to kosher a pot. Same rules. You have to heat the interior thoroughly. Now, you cannot turn an object this large without a forge into a yellow heat. So it's traditional for them simply to go over these surfaces several times, and you want to also go over the outside. Now, if you want to take this a step further and you want to kosher your cooking surfaces and they're metal, then you apply the same effect to your stainless steel or your metal surface, bronze or brass, and that will kosher it also. So this is how you kosher by fire. I may have entirely taken the temper out of this, but it is kosher. So there you go. Next, we will learn how to kosher by water. And now it is time for the song of koshering by water. Assume that you have done the same thing that we did before. That is, that you have thoroughly scoured the instruments you want to kosher and cleaned them and left them for 24 hours. Now, what you need is a large pot of boiling water. The boiling condition actually koshers the interior of this pot. So now, all I need to do is take my thoroughly clean instruments and drop them in there. And with only a second or two to spare, you pull them back out again. Voila, a kosher fork. All right, and that's how you do it. Now, what happens if you want to kosher a vessel? Take the same pot, take the pot you want to kosher, and put it in. And make sure that every surface you want koshered is exposed to the boiling water, and it's kosher. Now, we get to the conundrum. This is a famous conundrum in blacksmithing. How do you make the first set of tongs before tongs exist? How do you kosher the biggest pot you have with water when this is all you can do? Right? It's kosher on the inside, but it's not koshered on the outside. What could you possibly do? Well, this is where it becomes game of stones. Let's turn off our heat. We have a heated stone. Literally, not kidding, a hot stone. And what you do is you bring it over to the pot that has been boiling, and you drop it in. And now, with having the water pour over the exterior of the vessel, it too has been kosher. Suppose you want to kosher the surface that I used the propane flame on earlier without using flame, then you take the boiling water from a pot and pour it thoroughly over the surface, and that will kosher. Suppose you want to kosher your oven. Get out your propane torch and go thoroughly over the interior of the oven, and that will do it. Suppose you want to kosher your microwave. Put a big pot of water in there and microwave the water until it evaporates. Now your microwave is kosher. How about koshering a refrigerator? I'm sorry, I don't want to get into it. It's too complicated. But I think for most of the things you would like to do in terms of koshering your kitchen, everything is explained to you. This has been Game of Stones.